Your soulmate's secret gift property is now yours. The address will leave you speechless. See the photo, white medium star my beloved child. Before you decide this message is not for you, pause for just a moment. Imagine receiving an old envelope with no return address, no explanation, and only your name written across the front in elegant handwriting. Inside is a single photograph of a beautiful place you have never seen before, yet somehow it feels deeply familiar. On the back of that photo is one mysterious sentence: "The greatest gift is waiting where your heart has always belonged." Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. This is a fictional story about destiny, hope, and unexpected love. Every detail will slowly connect, and by the end, the mystery behind the photograph will become clearer than you ever imagined. At first, nothing about the picture seems extraordinary. It looks like a peaceful cottage surrounded by tall trees, glowing in the warm light of sunset. A narrow stone path leads to a wooden gate. Beyond the gate is a mailbox with faded numbers that cannot quite be read. You lean closer, trying to understand why this image feels so personal. Then your attention moves to a small handwritten note attached to the corner of the photograph. It says only one thing: someone has been protecting this place until the right moment arrives. Your heartbeat quickens. Questions begin to race through your mind. Who wrote this? Why was it sent to you? Why now? Don't skip, because this is where the story changes. Far away, someone has quietly carried a promise for years. That person is your soulmate, not because destiny guarantees impossible events, but because in this story two lives have been moving toward each other through patience, kindness, and choices that neither fully understood. Long before either of you met, an elderly relative shared a secret about a peaceful property filled with memories, handwritten journals, family photographs, and dreams that had never been completed. Instead of seeing it as land or wealth, they called it the gift that brings people home. Years passed. The secret remained hidden. The address stayed locked inside an old journal. Only one condition was written beside it. When two hearts are finally ready to build a future instead of chasing the past, reveal the location. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Meanwhile, your soulmate has no idea that every step they take is leading toward that forgotten promise. They discover tiny clues in unexpected places. An old key inside a wooden box. A folded map with one corner missing. A faded photograph showing the very same cottage. Every clue feels incomplete by itself, but together they begin forming a larger picture. Then comes the moment no one expected. While organizing family keepsakes, your soulmate notices a sealed envelope hidden between two old books. The paper is fragile. The wax seal is cracked with age. Carefully opening it reveals another photograph, identical to yours. The message underneath is different. The next keeper of this dream will arrive when hope becomes stronger than fear. Your soulmate freezes. Why are there two photographs? Who has the second one? And why do both point toward the same mysterious destination? Don't skip. Every answer creates an even bigger question. Over the next few days, strange coincidences begin happening. The same street name appears in different conversations. The same numbers repeat on clocks, receipts, and page numbers. A familiar melody plays wherever your soulmate goes. None of these moments prove anything supernatural. They simply become meaningful reminders that sometimes our minds connect patterns when our hearts are searching for direction. One evening, curiosity becomes impossible to ignore. The journal is opened once again. Hidden inside the final pages is a carefully folded map. One section is torn away. Without that missing piece, the address cannot be completed. Your soulmate whispers quietly, "Someone else must have the other half." At the exact same time, you are looking once more at the mysterious photograph resting on your table. The back corner seems unusually thick. You gently lift the paper. A folded piece slips out. It is part of a map. Your hands begin to shake, not from fear, but from anticipation. Could these two incomplete pieces belong together? Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The map remained on the table long after the sun had disappeared beyond the horizon. Neither of you spoke for several moments because some discoveries are too meaningful to interrupt with words. The missing piece fit perfectly, but one question still remained unanswered. Why had the address been divided between two people who had never met before? Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. As you both carefully unfolded the completed map, another hidden message slowly appeared beneath the faded ink. It could only be seen when the paper was held toward the light. The words were almost invisible, yet they were impossible to ignore. The journey begins only when both hearts choose trust over fear. Your soulmate looked at you in complete silence. It was as if they had been searching for this answer their entire life without realizing it. The address was no longer just a location. It had become the beginning of a much larger mystery. Early the next morning, both of you decided to follow the map. The road stretched farther than expected, winding through quiet villages, peaceful forests, and narrow country roads where every turn seemed strangely familiar. Along the way, unusual landmarks matched tiny sketches drawn on the edges of the old paper. An ancient bridge. A single oak tree standing alone in an open field. A weathered stone fountain with clear water flowing endlessly. Each landmark confirmed that the map had been carefully created many years ago by someone who expected this exact journey to happen one day. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Hours later, the road ended in front of an elegant iron gate covered with climbing roses. The address matched perfectly. Beyond the gate stood a beautiful estate surrounded by gardens that had clearly been cared for even though no one seemed to be living there. Everything looked peaceful, almost untouched by time itself. A gentle breeze carried the scent of flowers through the air as both of you exchanged uncertain glances. Your soulmate quietly reached toward the old key they had found months earlier. Without saying a word, they placed it into the lock. The key turned effortlessly. The heavy gate slowly opened as though it had simply been waiting for this exact moment. Every step inside the property revealed another surprise. Stone walkways curved through colorful gardens. Tall trees created natural arches overhead. Small lanterns lined the paths even though no electricity seemed connected to them. It felt less like discovering a forgotten place and more like entering a memory that had patiently waited to be remembered. Don't skip. The biggest surprise has not happened yet. Near the center of the property stood an elegant house built with timeless craftsmanship. Above the entrance was a wooden carving containing only 3 simple words: "Welcome home together. Your soulmate stopped walking." Those words echoed in complete silence. Neither of you had ever seen this place before, yet it somehow felt deeply familiar. The front door was unlocked. Inside, sunlight streamed through large windows, filling every room with warmth. Nothing appeared abandoned. The furniture remained perfectly arranged. Fresh flowers rested in crystal vases. Books filled the shelves from floor to ceiling. Paintings covered the walls, each showing scenes of hope, family, celebration, and peaceful evenings together. On a wooden table near the fireplace rested another envelope. Across the front was a handwritten message. If you have reached this room together, then you have already understood the first secret. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Carefully opening the envelope revealed several handwritten pages. The first page explained that this place had never been intended as a prize to be won. Instead, it had always been protected as a symbol of a future built on kindness, patience, loyalty, and shared dreams. The writer described how people often searched the world for extraordinary gifts while overlooking the greatest blessing of all, a life created together with someone willing to stand beside them through every season. As you continued reading, another folded photograph slipped onto the table. Unlike the first photograph, this one showed the property filled with people smiling, celebrating birthdays, sharing meals, planting flowers, and creating memories together. The final line beneath the photograph read, "A house becomes valuable because of the love it holds, not because of its walls." Your soulmate smiled for the first time since entering the property. Yet one mystery still remained unsolved. Why had the address remained hidden for so many years? The answer appeared inside the next letter. Long ago, the caretaker believed that if the location became public, people would see only its material value. They would never understand its true purpose. So the address was divided, the photographs separated, and the clues hidden until 2 people who valued each other more than possessions could complete the puzzle together. Don't skip. Every answer is leading to one final revelation. As both of you explored the upstairs rooms, you discovered journals filled with stories spanning generations. Every page spoke about courage, forgiveness, hope, and the importance of choosing love even during uncertain times. One journal described a tradition unlike any other. Every generation added one letter addressed to the future couple who would eventually arrive. The final blank page had been left empty intentionally. A note beside it simply said, "This page belongs to you." Neither of you expected that. The greatest gift waiting inside the property was not hidden beneath the floor or locked inside a safe. It was an invitation to continue a story that had begun decades earlier. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. As evening approached, golden sunlight filled every room, making the old house appear almost alive. Walking toward the back garden, you noticed a small stone bench facing the horizon. Another tiny envelope rested beneath it. Inside was a single sentence written in elegant handwriting: "Every journey begins with curiosity, but the greatest destinations are reached through trust." Your soulmate quietly folded the note and placed it beside the others. The mystery that had begun with a single photograph had become something far greater than either of you expected. The address had led you to more than a beautiful property. It had revealed a place where new memories could begin, old dreams could be continued, and two lives could move forward together. But just as it seemed every secret had finally been uncovered, a faint sound echoed from somewhere beneath the house. Both of you stopped instantly. Looking toward the floor, you noticed a narrow wooden door hidden beneath a large woven rug. Neither of you had seen it before. The old brass handle reflected the evening light. A tiny keyhole rested in its center. Then your soulmate slowly reached into their pocket and discovered one final key they had completely forgotten was there. It was smaller than the first one, engraved with the exact same symbol carved above the front entrance. For a long moment, neither of you moved. Could this hidden room contain the final chapter of the mystery? Or was the greatest secret still waiting just beyond that locked door? Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something even bigger is waiting beyond what you have discovered today, and the next chapter will reveal why that final key was never meant to be found until this exact moment. A deep silence settled over the entire house as both of you stood staring at the small wooden door hidden beneath the old woven rug. Neither of you rushed forward. Some doors seem to carry more than locks, they carry unanswered questions. Your soulmate slowly held up the final key, turning it gently in the fading light. The engraved symbol matched the carving above the entrance perfectly. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Every clue, every photograph, every handwritten note had led to this single moment. With one careful movement, the key slid into the lock. For a brief second, nothing happened. Then a soft click echoed through the quiet room. The hidden door slowly lifted, revealing a narrow staircase descending into a softly illuminated chamber below. A warm golden glow rose from beneath, unlike anything either of you expected. There was no feeling of fear. Instead, an overwhelming sense of peace surrounded the space. Step by step, both of you descended together. The chamber was beautifully preserved. Shelves lined the walls, filled with carefully organized journals, framed photographs, hand-drawn maps, family letters, and countless small wooden boxes. In the very center stood an elegant oak table. Resting upon it was a large leather-bound book with a ribbon placed neatly across its cover. Written in golden letters were 5 simple words: "The story continues with you." Your soulmate looked toward you without speaking. Somehow both of you understood that this book was the true reason the journey had begun. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Slowly opening the first page revealed a handwritten introduction unlike anything you had imagined. It did not speak about wealth, ownership, or inheritance. Instead, it spoke about people who chose kindness when life became difficult, who protected hope when others gave up, and who believed that every generation should leave behind something more valuable than possessions. Every chapter described ordinary people creating extraordinary memories together. One family planted a tree for every child born into the family. Another restored forgotten gardens simply so strangers could enjoy their beauty. One generation built a quiet reading room where anyone seeking peace could sit for hours without interruption. The property had become a place where countless acts of generosity quietly shaped the lives of others. Don't skip. The greatest revelation has not arrived yet. As the pages continued, your soulmate suddenly stopped. Folded inside one chapter rested another photograph. Unlike the earlier pictures, this one had never faded. It showed two empty chairs facing the sunrise from the garden behind the house. Beneath the image was a single handwritten sentence: "These seats remain empty until the next chapter begins." You immediately remembered seeing those exact chairs while walking through the garden earlier that afternoon. Neither of you realized they carried such meaning. Curious, both of you returned upstairs and quietly walked back into the evening light. The garden was now glowing beneath the golden colors of sunset. Birds rested peacefully among the trees while the gentle breeze carried the scent of blooming flowers through the air. The two wooden chairs waited exactly where the photograph had shown them. As you approached, something unexpected caught your attention. Between the chairs rested a small wooden chest that had not been there before, or perhaps it had simply gone unnoticed. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The chest was unlocked. Inside were dozens of neatly folded letters, each tied with soft ribbon. Every envelope carried a different year written on the front, stretching decades into the past. The oldest letter was carefully opened first. It described the beginning of the property's remarkable history. The original caretaker believed that places filled with love should never become forgotten. Instead of leaving behind instructions about buildings, money, or possessions, they left behind encouragement for future generations to continue creating moments worth remembering. Every letter ended with the exact same sentence: "Protect the people before you protect the place." Your soulmate smiled quietly. Suddenly, everything made sense. The mysterious gift had never been hidden because it was valuable. It had been protected because its true purpose could only be understood by people willing to value relationships above everything else. Don't skip. Every answer is leading toward the final surprise. As darkness slowly covered the sky, tiny lanterns surrounding the garden began glowing one after another without anyone touching them. The warm lights reflected across the pathways, creating a breathtaking scene. It almost felt as though the property itself had been patiently waiting for someone to return. Walking deeper into the garden, you discovered a peaceful stone circle surrounding an ancient tree. Hanging from one branch was a small silver wind chime that gently moved with the evening breeze. Every soft sound echoed beautifully across the quiet landscape. Attached beneath the wind chime was another handwritten message. "When laughter returns here again, the promise has been fulfilled." Your soulmate stood completely still, reading those words over and over again. They finally understood that every clue had pointed toward the same truth from the very beginning. The greatest gift was never ownership. It was the opportunity to continue a legacy of hope, generosity, and togetherness. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Before leaving the garden, both of you decided to write the very first entry on the blank page waiting inside the great journal below. Sitting together beside the fireplace, the empty page no longer seemed intimidating. Instead, it felt like an invitation. Carefully, the first sentence appeared across the paper. Today we discovered that the greatest treasures are the memories we choose to create together. As the ink dried, a folded document gently slipped from the back cover of the journal. Neither of you had noticed it before. It contained a beautifully illustrated map of the entire property with several locations marked by tiny golden stars. Beside each star was the name of a tradition waiting to be continued, the Garden of Gratitude, the Library of Stories, the Orchard of New Beginnings, the Celebration Hall, the Memory Bridge. Every place carried its own purpose. Every tradition invited future generations to add something meaningful rather than simply preserve what already existed. The journey was far from over. It had only just begun. Then your attention moved toward the final page of the document where one sentence stood alone in elegant handwriting. If you have reached this page together, there is one last place you have not yet discovered. Beneath the sentence appeared a simple drawing of a hill overlooking the entire valley. Neither of you remembered seeing it on the way here. Looking through the window, your soulmate noticed a narrow pathway disappearing into the moonlit trees behind the estate. At the entrance stood a small wooden sign pointing toward one final destination. It contained only 3 words, the Promise Hill. Both of you exchanged silent smiles. Every mystery solved had quietly opened the door to an even greater one. Without hesitation, you picked up the lantern, stepped onto the hidden path, and began walking toward the final place marked on the map, unaware that what waited at the top of that peaceful hill would change the meaning of the entire journey forever. The narrow path toward Promise Hill seemed almost untouched, as though only a few footsteps had ever crossed it. The lantern in your hands cast a warm glow over the stones ahead while the quiet sounds of the evening surrounded you. Every step felt meaningful, not because you expected unimaginable riches, but because every part of the journey had already revealed something far more valuable than either of you imagined. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. As the trees slowly opened, the hill came into view. At its summit stood a single oak tree, larger than any you had ever seen, its branches stretching across the night sky like open arms welcoming every traveler who reached this place. Beneath the tree rested a beautifully carved wooden bench facing the valley below. From there, the entire property could be seen, the cottage, the gardens, the winding stone paths, the bridge, and every place whose story you had uncovered. For several quiet moments, neither of you spoke. Sometimes silence carries more meaning than words ever could. Then your soulmate noticed something carved into the bench itself. It simply read, "Look beyond what you expected to find." Those words lingered in your thoughts as you sat together watching the first stars appear above the valley. The peaceful view made everything that had happened feel connected. The mysterious photograph, the divided map, the hidden key, the forgotten letters, the family journal, the secret chamber, every clue had been guiding you toward this exact place. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. As the moonlight brightened, your attention shifted to a small wooden box placed beneath the bench. Unlike the others, this box contained no lock at all. Inside rested one final envelope tied with a golden ribbon. Across the front were the words, "Open only after you understand the true gift." Your soulmate smiled gently before opening it. Inside was the last handwritten letter left by the original caretaker of the property. The letter began with remarkable simplicity. If you expected this journey to end with ownership alone, then you have missed its greatest lesson. If you discovered that the greatest inheritance is the opportunity to build a life filled with kindness, laughter, hope, and shared memories, then this place has already become yours in the only way that truly matters. You continued reading together. The caretaker explained that every generation had added something meaningful to the property, not because they were required to, but because they wanted future visitors to experience hope long after they were gone. One family planted fruit trees whose harvest would feed strangers. Another built the library so forgotten stories would never disappear. Another restored the gardens so beauty could continue blooming through every season. None of them asked for recognition. They simply believed that every act of generosity leaves a lasting mark on the world. Don't skip. The biggest revelation is still ahead. Carefully folded behind the final page was one last photograph. It was completely blank. At first, both of you looked at it with confusion. Why would the final photograph contain nothing at all? Then another note slipped free. This picture was always meant to be completed by the people who arrive here together. Every future memory belongs on this page. Suddenly everything became clear. Every previous photograph captured the past. The final photograph represented the future, a future that had not yet been created. The mystery had never been about uncovering someone else's story. It had always been about beginning your own. Your soulmate looked toward the valley below, then quietly said, "Perhaps this is why the address remained hidden for so long." The place was waiting for people ready to create something worth remembering. You nodded, realizing how every clue had pointed toward that truth from the very beginning. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Before leaving Promise Hill, both of you decided to make one simple promise beneath the ancient oak tree. You would protect the stories already written while creating new ones with the same kindness that had preserved this place for generations. As you walked back toward the house, dawn slowly began replacing the darkness. Soft golden light spread across the valley, making every garden sparkle with morning dew. The estate no longer felt mysterious. It felt welcoming. The hidden property had transformed from an unanswered question into a place filled with purpose. Entering the house one final time, your attention returned to the great journal resting on the oak table. The blank page still waited patiently. Together, you wrote one final entry beneath the first sentence you had added earlier. We discovered that the greatest gifts are never measured by what we receive, but by what we choose to build together. Closing the journal gently, you noticed something extraordinary. The cover, which had once displayed the words, "The story continues with you," now seemed to carry a deeper meaning. Every generation had once stood exactly where you were standing now. Every family had once wondered what the future would hold. Every chapter had begun with uncertainty, yet each ended with hope. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Before leaving, your soulmate placed the completed map, every photograph, every letter, and every key back inside the wooden chest where they would remain safely preserved. Not hidden out of secrecy, but protected out of respect for the journey they represented. Beside them, your soulmate left one additional envelope addressed simply to the next dreamers. Inside was a short message. May you arrive here with open hearts. May you leave with even greater hope. Remember that the greatest homes are built through kindness, patience, forgiveness, and love. With everything finally complete, both of you stepped outside once more. The morning sun rose behind the hills, filling the valley with brilliant light. Birds sang from the gardens while the wind gently moved through the ancient trees. Looking back at the property, you realized something remarkable. The address that had once seemed like the greatest mystery had become only a small part of a much larger story. The true surprise was never the destination. It was the transformation that happened along the way. It was discovering that trust grows stronger when shared. That hope becomes brighter when protected together. That ordinary places become extraordinary through the memories created within them. The photograph that first arrived as a mystery had fulfilled its purpose. It had not promised impossible miracles. It had simply invited two people to uncover a legacy built on compassion, generosity, and enduring connection. As you walked away from the estate, neither of you felt as though you were leaving anything behind. Instead, it felt as though you were carrying its greatest gift with you wherever life would lead next. And somewhere inside the quiet house, resting safely upon the oak table, the journal waited patiently for another blank page to one day be filled with new stories, new laughter, new celebrations, and new dreams. The mystery had ended, but the journey had only just begun. The greatest address was never written on the map alone. It was written in every choice to create a life filled with hope, kindness, and unforgettable memories together. And that, more than any hidden property, became the once-in-a-lifetime gift that neither of you would ever forget.